Pika. Why didn't you tell me I had something stuck in my teeth? Oh, you're a stuffed animal and you don't really talk. Oh, okay, that's a good excuse. Hello and welcome back. Once again, you've guessed it, it's Tracksuit Week here in Boston, home of the Boston Marathon. That was Monday. It's in Slancha. It's going to be a long week because I have a full weekend ahead, so I need to, keep a good pace. There's a comic book convention this weekend, and I'm going to it. A real comic book convention filled with creators and autographs and long boxes to dive through, and just to redistribute my wealth, my personal wealth. Pre-recorded live before a studio audience of stuffed animals from our Boston studios comes the Comics Coffee Table. That's right, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern daily. We leave the real world over there for a couple of minutes. We hunker down here and shoot the breeze and forget about the world's problems. We take our minds off our minds just for a few minutes. We'll get on with our day in just a couple of minutes, but until then, let's take a break. Slancha, cheers to your health, to your mental health, to your spiritual health, to your emotional health, and to your physical health. I hope you have that and contribute to it positively every day. To us, to this comic book style conversation, click on those notifications, ring that bell, subscribe. We make daily content. We just hang out for a couple of minutes in our busy day full of just life. And this coffee table, I got the idea for the coffee table not only from that coffee table book that got us through last year. Look, this hardcover coffee table book given to me about 2 decades ago by one of my best friends. It was surfing my coffee table ever since. And guess what? This coffee table has brought us all together. The coffee table has always been where my friends and I would hang out and shoot the breeze. There would be a stack of movies, a stack of music, a stack of books, and always a stack of comic books. You know it. Trying to get each other to read and to get turned on to and to have conversations about. We still do that here. We do it here on YouTube. We also do it at the local comic book shop. That's where the comic book shop style talk comes from. Our comic book shops are the fulcrum of our culture. I think YouTube's giving it a run for its money because, we don't have to show up to the brick and mortar shop. Yet, I do still once a week, every Wednesday, I like to drop by my local comic book shop. I'd like to get some new releases, and I like to get my supplies there as well. I could be getting my supplies from my online supply chain with the free delivery, the built-in movie network, and getting it at a discount, and getting specifically what I'm looking for. I'm looking for Mylars, and they're hard to find at the brick and mortar shops. All of them. I've been looking around the many comic book shops of the Boston metropolitan area. Yeah. None. Zero. Sorry, I don't mean that. I hope that's not some kind of gang sign or some initiation ritual. Someone's going to screen grab that and say oh, bad oh no, he's doing another hand gesture. I get it. Actually, I get it. Trust me, I get it. I am going to my local comic book shop and I am buying my supplies there. Short boxes, acid-free boards, and bags. I'm reboxing, reboarding, and rebagging my entire collection. Rebag, reboard, rebox. And along the way, I'm going to get a ballpark figure, an estimate of what they're worth and what kind of condition they're in. These 2 books are great. I got links in the description if you want to get your own copies and play along at home. They were given to me by my parents for Christmas last year, so this season is dedicated to my parents. Thank you so very much. I love you. And let's get to it. I just want to let you know, too, when it comes to grading and valuing your comic books, something that I'm learning how to do here. And we're talking about that here, but for entertainment purposes only. I am not a professional grader. If you have any questions or concerns, bring your floppy to your local comic book shop. The staff or the owner should be able to grade your comic. I get this on Good Info. My friend Yule Carter from Fantastic Comics in Berkeley, California, a comic book shop owner, said that on his own very show, and which is great. He's got his show is I watched that the first hour of it this morning over coffee because he publishes it on Tuesday nights. It's a little late for me here in Boston, but I wake up to it and I have coffee with Yule on Wednesday morning. So Sláinte, I love talking about comic books, and I love being part of this YouTube community that does talk about comic books. And there's always something to talk about. This is why we're doing this show. 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern daily. Join us. Join the conversation. If I'm able to make the live chat premiere at 3 o'clock, I will. And there's a cool bunch of cats hanging out, having comic book shop style conversations. Lots of new faces and comments in the comment section. Keep the conversation going as well. We've proven that we can talk about comic books every day, and we do. So subscribe and turn on those notifications. Sure, let's get to it. Hold on. We're just going through Pika's notes. It's good to check you got to read the notes. You know, he might have just scribbled something in there in the last minute. You know, so you can tell that he tore this one out in anger when I couldn't commit to the bit. So, I do have veto power. I do. Vito Corleone power. I'll make him an offer he can't resist. He can't refuse. Awesome. Let's get to it. Yeah, I'm buying my supplies at the local comic book shop. Short boxes, bags, acid-free boards. I'm migrating my collection from these long boxes. These boxes have done their job. Seriously, I bought these over a decade ago. I've barely touched these comic books since. So it's a good, I'm getting a good feel of like what to keep and what to try to sell. And if you do sell it, what kind of grade is it in? And what do you think you could get for it fairly? You will find out. I'm going to a comic book convention this very weekend. I have questions. It's not like I want to have skin in the game of selling comic books and turning over comic books. It's a big part of our genre, though, of our hobby. It really is. And I'm more into the mentality of I would love to give these stories a second life and a new home of someone that's going to love and appreciate them and occasionally read them too. And be like, oh, what a nice readable copy this is. This is held up pretty nicely, for a floppy that you're only going to like literally manipulate and handle once. And how long, exactly. So, and I seriously do prefer floppies over trade paperbacks. And we're getting to the end of the DC Prime. And we saved it. Wow, one of the best for last. Some kind of snow comes out in June. Sometime the earth goes round the moon. I don't want to get a copyright strike. I'm pitch perfect. The algorithm will not be able to tell me apart from its original music. It's a bane and a blessing. But before that, let us look up something from a wiki. I love wikis. I'm pretty bright, but part of being quote-unquote smart is just knowing how to look up things. The brave. And, whoops, learn how to spell. And, what the? And the bold. The brave and the bold. It could be many different things. You see here in the wiki, one of the first ones is the Batman TV show. I'm looking for specifically the comic book. Brave and the... It could be just Brave and the Bold. Let's try that one. Brave and the Bold DC Comics. Dun, 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 dun. Here's the real Wikipedia. Let us read from the wiki. All right. The Brave and the Bold is a comic book series published by DC Comics as an ongoing series from 1955 to 1983. So it's either one of the last comics of the Golden Age or one of the first comics of the Silver Age. And I'm going to say that I'm looking at Brave and the Bold #1, and bigger than life in the corner is the brand new, approved by the Comics Code Authority seal of approval. So I'm going to say that this is one of the first issues of the new Silver Age. And this was September of 1955. August-September of 1955 was the first issue of the Brave and the Bold. And it was followed by 2 miniseries in 1991 and in 1999. It was revived as an ongoing title in 2007. The focus of the series has varied over time, but it most commonly features team-ups of characters from across the DC universe. And eventually it began... It kind of was like the Batman was the big team up. We would have like Batman and somebody like a B or C lister to maybe like try to put them over. Like the wrestling, that's wrestling, more wrestling terminology. I love wrestling terminologies. Putting someone over. Let's look that up. Wrestling. Putting over. Wrestling term putting. What does it mean in pro wrestling? To put someone over means to make them look good. The phrase put over is most often used in reference to professional wrestling, a sport, quote unquote, where wrestlers constantly cut promos and lose matches to make other wrestlers look good. For example, if a wrestling fan tells you The Rock is about to put John Cena over, that likely means The Rock is going to lose his next match against Cena. Or it means The Rock is going to win the match, but do so in an unsavory fashion, revealing himself to be a heel and making the audience feel bad for Cena. So yeah, this is so Brave and the Bold was meant to have Batman put someone over. My earliest Batman Brave and the Bolds were starting the Creeper and I think Nemesis as well. These like late 70s. Early 1980s, which I'm going to be looking for a few of these at the con and see if like there's just some readable copies. I want to get some Bronze Age babies for my spinner rack. I want to get some Secret Society of the Supervillains. If I can find some at a reasonable price. I love seeing like Reverse Flash on those covers with Sinestro and Gorilla Grodd and Cheetah and like. It's like it was in the heyday of the Super Friends as well. It's where we got the Legion of Doom from. Great stuff. And but it was the opposite of the Brave and the Bold. When is this from again? I got this. This is a great readable copy. I got it at my local comic book shop. It was priced at $7. The comics as ads. Let's look at the indicia colophon on this one. This is from July, August of 1978, a 35-cent comic book at the time. I don't remember getting this particular issue itself as a kid, but I remember funny books just like this being a big part of growing up. And I just love the style book unity of like how there are no differences between this Batman and the cartoons, and that's great in my humble opinion. But yeah, so the series was changed at issue 50 as a team-up title between established characters, starting with issue number 59. the Batman, the Brave and the Bold became more specifically a Batman team-up book with the Caped Crusader as the book's main focus. This was due to popularity of the Batman television series. After issue number 74, The Brave and the Bold was exclusively a Batman team-up title until it ended with issue 200 in 1983. Indeed. The teaming of Robin, Kid Flash, and Aqualad in issue number 54, June-July of 1964, by writer Bob Haney and artist Bruno Premiani, led to the creation of the Teen Titans. That's true. The three heroes subsequently appeared under the name The Teen Titans in issue 60, June-July of 1965, the next year, by Haney and artist Nick Cardy. And they were joined by Wonder Woman's younger sister, Wonder Girl, in her first appearance. Metamorpho was created for The Brave and the Bold in number 57. And this was the first title to feature Neil Adams' version of Batman, generating fan interest that led to Adams' style defining the modern age Batman to this day. In addition, Adams updated Green Arrow's visual appearance by designing a new costume for the character in issue number 85. And issue number 85, August-September of 1969, with the visual change of Green Arrow, is kind of the line in the sand that separates the end of the Silver Age with the beginning of the Bronze Age of comics. Yes. Ha ha ha. That's great. And so, in 2007, from the minds and hands of Mark Waid and legendary all-star artist George Perez, who we just lost last year, and it was actually finished by Jerry Ordway. Perez did the first 10 issues. We have the modern 2007 Brave and the Bold. There will be a new Brave and the Bold coming out with the dawn of DC this summer. It's meant to, I think it's replacing like the Batman Gotham Knights, or no, and I think it's Gotham Knights. It's replacing one of the Batman secondary titles, so it's going to be a Batman title. It's going to be Bat Family. Like Batman has a huge amount, like about 14 different Bat titles, 15 or so. Somebody out there knows the exact number. It's probably more than that, more closer to 20. I know Star Wars itself, Marvel Star Wars, has 14 different Star Wars titles as of last month. I grew up with Marvel Star Wars, just, we were lucky to have the one. But to have 14 to choose from at these cover prices as well. I mean, what was the cover price here? This was $2.99, and here we have. Let's just start opening these up and just looking at them. Oh, look at this George Perez art. This is great, because we're going to talk about these two, because it has like one of these. It has a joke in it that you really couldn't get away with. So I'm going to give you an old-fashioned trigger warning if you need it. I mean, we used to do this with the old show all the time, because there's a lot of racial insensitivities involved in looking into the past, specifically the golden age of comic books. I mean, I think there's a neutrality in a racial stereotype if that's how it's intended. If you get a racial stereotype in some kind of magazine that's ill-intended, you can probably smell the racism coming off it if that's what it was intended. Yet, is there a neutral energy or a positive? I think there are positive stereotypes. I'm Irish American. I mean, look at Sean Cassidy, the Banshee of the X-Men. I mean, he's practically a stereotype, but he's a great character. And I welcome him in X-Men stories. I love that. But I think that stereotype exists, especially back then, in the 20th century, and is an information vehicle. It conveys a lot of information very quickly. And if, yes, you're using a prejudged list and biases based on culture and appearance, sure. Yeah, that's all fair to say. And that's what we get for looking to the past. So back in the old show, I used to say, hey, a little trigger warning. If you're oversensitive to this kind of stuff, you might want to skip this. Or I would even put my finger over certain parts of the art of that day, just because I use my own judgment. I know what a racist is. I know what hate is. I know what a hate group is. And I know what leveraging is too. So we're about to come across an antediluvian sexist joke, and but we have some really delicious George Perez art in here. Look at that! Look at that! Oh, let's just inked by Bob Wyachek. Let's look at the Indicia colophone for a second here. You know, there are no first appearances, so that, you know, I'm just going to say that, like, even at a 9.2, this just keeps its cover price. This is cover date April of 2007, probably purchased in January or February of 2007. And of course, if it's and we have some, we got a little bend. That's a ding. All right, we got a corner. We got spine roll. Sully spine roll. Welcome to the Sully Spine Roll Show. And then this turns into, it's one long story, yeah, but it's about switching it off between different characters. They're like working on the same case. Yeah, we got dings. But here we go. We got Green Lantern and the recently reintroduced Kara Zor-El, who was on hiatus for a long time. If you grew up with a Supergirl Matrix in the 80s, Matrix still confuses me. Matrix was created by Lex Luthor and then given Supergirl's appearance, but there was no visual cue for Supergirl because she didn't exist post-Crisis on Infinite Earths, even though she sacrificed herself in order to save Superman from the wrath of the Anti-Monitor. Welcome to comic books. Exactly. Oh, wow. Yeah, I mean, Nemesis was introduced in an 8-page backup story. I remember seeing Nemesis in those Brave and the Bold from when I was a kid. Okay, here we go. But there's some great George Perez art, and it's just Kara and Hal, you know. And like they're alone in space, and she's a young lady, and she's obviously got a crush on him. And Hal has a bad reputation of being a cape chaser. No bad thoughts. She's 17. That's cute, but I don't think that would be. I think editorial would have asked you to have maybe just fixed that a little bit, made it a bit more appropriate for modern audiences. 17? Yeah, huh? How old do you think Hal is here? This is 2007. Flashpoint and New 52 won't come until for 4 more years, say 5 years or so. That's when everyone's clock gets turned back. That's when the entire Justice League, you have to accept this, are in their mid-20s. That makes Hal in his mid-20s. Here, he's in his mid-30s. And he's back from the dead too. This is post-rebirth Hal, so it's kind of like he's got an old soul, but in a reformatted body, you know. going to look at a 2007 ad. Here, we got Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards. We got Batman. Look at this Batman black and white. These black, that's so cool. Designed by Alex Ross. I like the Batman black and white comics. You got more down there by different artists. The Paul Pope one, damn. I love Kelly Jones ears. Look at the Steve Rude ears on that one, man. And the Tim Sale ears. You know, the practicality of the ears. You know, are they antennas? Are they meant to like deflect a blow like a sword? And we got Batman and the New Blue Beetle. This is great. Check out look, this house ad. Black Adam. Like, you know, there was the World War III mini comic. Well, it's 4-issue limited, and between a couple of weeks of 52. Exactly. Look at those writers. It's a murderer's row of DC's greatest at the time. Oh man, I love this George Perez art. Big League Chew. Look at that. Chewing gum. Chewing gum in the aped form of chewing tobacco. That was exactly. This Big League Chew, that sort of bubble gum, is that still allowed? I'm going to say, like, look at the marketing. I mean, look at the ads on this. Who is this magazine being sold to? But check this out. This is fun. This is Supergirl and the main man himself, Lobo. This is great. Of course, we got plenty of dings. Because remember, too, these are well read. I mean, I read the heck out of these. These were fun. And, yeah, this is just, like, really interesting, fun comic books. And in a time, oh, boy. That's Destiny. Of the Endless. Hello. Brother to Sandman. In death, and destruction, and delirium. And the other two. So yeah, this went 12 issues. Yeah, yes, please. Some classic Doom Patrol. You got some Barry Allen. This is George Perez's last issue. Or no, actually, this will be his last issue. And we have the original Teen Titans. Superman and the Silent Knight. Again. You got Bo. Because you needed a board in that the entire time. Aw. San Francisco WonderCon. 2008. Yule, were you there? You got the Challengers of the Unknown. So this was just a huge celebration of Silver and Bronze Age. It's fun art. It's just the classic Teen Titans. Like, where do they fit in the continuity? I mean, look, that is as classic as you can get. But did they ever exist? Are they talking about the pre-crisis? Maybe. Just maybe. I love, well, and Perez's emphasis on eyes, like all these close-ups. It's just the eye is the window to the soul, and Perez. Oh, look at that panel of the Teen Titans. That is so cool. Look, kids. They're superheroes. They're not quite that old yet. They aren't old enough to have romantic problems. You know, and this one's an interesting team up. Superman and his Earth 3 alternate, his evil alternate, Ultraman. And then everything wraps up here. Brave and the Bold number 12. Right When Countdown is also wrapping up as well. Yep. One complete story in 12 issues. Brings everything together. Ooh. This, we just covered that last week, right? By Kingdom Come by Jeff Johns and Alex Ross and Dale Eaglesham. That's the collection. Really nice. New Gods action figures. Well, cool. Wow. Look at the time. It got away from me again. But yeah, that's Brave and the Bold. And that goes way back for me. And will I be getting the new Brave and the Bold series by Batman? The answer is probably no. And not for anything, you know, sneaky or judgy or anything. It's more of, you know, you only have so much room in your life for the different comics you're going to get every month. So, I mean, you can, I guess. You can get everything. Can you? Sure, if you can afford it and you have places to put it, and if that's your thing, yes, buy everything. And buy it at your local comic book shop as well. Keep them in business. Keep them open. We've been talking about comic books, and we're going to talk about comic books every day for the rest of the year. It's tracksuit week. So let's break out your tracksuits. It's marathon fever around here from our Boston studios. Thank you so very much. God bless. Namaste. Good luck. And we will see you again tomorrow in those funny pages. Please like and subscribe. I would love to earn your subscription. We are advancing upon our first 1,000 subscribers. We're almost there. So if you're new to this channel, come and enjoy the show. Put on those notifications. And I would love to earn your subscription. We make daily content here. We also talk about purpose and spirituality. And I talk a lot about cooking, too. I'm a professional chef. So, yeah, and hopefully we get something for everyone. Thank you so very much. Namaste. Good luck. We will see you again tomorrow in those funny pages. Ciao. Bye-bye.